In Kingdom Under Fire, even if just 5 years, Hyrule will have evolved at a fast rate. Yeah, because in Tears of the Kingdom, there's machines, right, and equipment, and there's batteries, and I didn't play Tears of the Kingdom yet, but there's machinery, right? So obviously, in Kingdom Under Fire, Hyrule has expanded, grown, and they're starting to have some kind of vehicle, maybe some kind of a car. They would still have horses on in the game, in the wild maybe, but maybe design a car of sort or a vehicle, maybe. But the society has evolved, yeah. They're starting to have phones, for example, maybe, maybe not phones exactly, but the society has evolved. They're starting to have maybe steampunk machines. You know what I mean? Do you see steam engines? Maybe. Hyrule has expanded and grown, and Hyrule Castle is much bigger, rebuilt. Kakariko Village has gotten bigger. Maybe. Maybe. The Gerudo female village, maybe is starting to accept males or stuff, or I don't know. Obviously, some of the Zelda elements would have to still remain in the game. If it's a follow-up to Tears of the Kingdom, if it's a follow-up, some of the characters would have to remain, right? But Hyrule would have major expanded, and is starting maybe steampunk machines. Maybe as some sort of they're starting to work on some sort of steam-powered car. Do you not necessarily use it in the game? But Hyrule has grown, you know what I mean? They're starting to have inventions, recycle some of the elements, Hyrule has grown over time, And like I said, they would simply be getting married, for one, therefore Zelda would become your companion throughout the game, She is your wife, She is now your wife in Kingdom Under Fire, and you start off, you're at the honeymoon, and you notice these enemies landing on shore, unpacking gear, and you kind of sneak off to Hyrule Castle to report to the general, and you start investigating on who these people are, what are they doing in Hyrule, I asked GTF2 to maybe contact Nintendo, maybe call Shigeru Miyamoto and send them, my videos if they can, just copy them from my phone and send them by email or somehow to Shigeru Miyamoto, just share my ideas, and they said that they may be on the drawing table already, that they apparently, they already like my stuff, It would not have to match 100% what I'm saying, in my videos. Obviously, it's up to Nintendo to design the dungeons and stuff, or the game mechanics, what they would feel would fit in the story, right? I'm not a level designer, so as far as puzzles, I would do more sneak kill kind of dungeons, sneak around the dungeons, and stuff, and maybe like, avoid traps, or I don't know, maybe compromise their gear, or I don't know, somehow, maybe explode the dungeon, or I don't know. You would have a dungeon ending boss, who is simply like a very powerful sergeant, or something. It's up to Nintendo to design the gameplay, around the story. I'm not a level designer. But yeah, apparently they already like most of my idea. Nintendo's already on the drawing table. They actually thought it was mostly a cool idea. I'm glad. Those would make great titles. It's the kind of Zelda game I would like to play. A more mature theme game, more combat oriented, more sneak kills, maybe less dungeon puzzles in the dungeons. I know it would change the formula a bit of a Zelda game, but it would be an interesting story. And the game would be a lot longer than Breath of the Wild, because Breath of the Wild you can finish the game in 15 minutes if you want. You know what I mean? If you really want, you don't even have to do the dungeons. You can just defeat Ganondorf in 15 minutes if you really want to. I haven't. I actually went through the whole game, did all the dungeons and the four guardians and stuff. I played the game. I actually wanted to do the story and capture every memory, and I didn't 100% the game because I didn't use a camera. Honestly, that mechanic did not really have an interesting factor to me. I didn't research plants and animals and stuff. Personally, to me that was not an interesting part of the game. I'm not saying it's useless. I'm not saying it was not useless, but that's the part of the game I didn't put a focus on. I did the dungeons, 120 dungeons and stuff. All the missions and stuff. I took the time to finish Breath of the Wild. But the problem is, like I said, you could finish the game in 15 minutes. If you really wanted to. Now, my idea for Kingdom Under Fire, it would be a longer title. You know what I mean. It would remind you something like Oblivion, but with third eye view camera and Zelda as your companion. You know what I mean. And you would be both accessing these portals and trying to clear these enemy dungeons at the Fire Nation, and basically you would travel back to your hero, and the portal would close, the crystal would break, and the portal would close once you exit the portal at the end of the battle. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad they liked some of my ideas. They did like most of my ideas, mostly. Good. Glad to hear. Kingdom Under Fire, that's what I would call the next Zelda title, yeah. That's what I would do. They would simply be getting married at the start, becoming king and queen of Hyrule, finally, after Tears of the Kingdom, Hyrule has grown, recovered, and basically they fall in love over time, and are getting married, and becoming king and queen at the start of the game. The intro scene, basically, would be their marriage, you would see the whole marriage, and celebration, induction as king and queen to the throne of Hyrule, because Princess Zelda is a princess, right? Isn't that the point? She is princess, and she would marry her knight, basically, yeah, and they become king and queen of Hyrule, yeah, basically, over the course of 5 years, like I said, Hyrule would have expanded, and they're starting to maybe be more steampunk inspired. Maybe there's some new machines being, it would be somewhat steampunk era, kind of thing, over the course of 5 years, kind of thing. Maybe, I don't know. So to Nintendo, they're smart, they're very smart people. Whatever they work on, they have good ideas themselves. But this is the Zelda games I would design. You know what I mean? Probably they may end up being T-rated. They might be able to still give an E rating if there's no blood, and if it's mostly only sneaking behind the enemy, and it depends on the level of combat that they want to put in these games. It's up to Nintendo to figure that out. But it might be the first Zelda games that are T-rated. Yeah, I would say. I wouldn't put blood, or I would still keep it family-friendly titles. But there would be a little more combat, yeah. There would be more combat-oriented dungeons, put simply. They have to fend off these enemy forces, They're on the drawing board, GGF says, they like most of my ideas. Great. What makes you think we haven't contacted Shigeru Miyamoto? They like most of my ideas. I'm happy, because these are the Zelda games I would play as a player. Put simply, the formula has to evolve. You can't always redo the same, old style dungeons. Over time, you do have to evolve the formula a bit. Kind of like what they did for Breath of the Wild. They evolved the formula, right? So continue on from Tears of the Kingdom. Continue from Tears of the Kingdom. Whether or not they recycle the engine, Switch 2 must have a lot more processing power. So whether or not they reuse the engine or use Unreal or a similar engine, right? To do these titles, it could still be a follow-up to Tears of the Kingdom, even if it might be on a different engine. It's up to Nintendo to figure that out. What would be best graphic-wise for the game? But at the end, it would just simply start off, with Link and Zelda getting married, becoming king of Queen. They're no longer, they're no longer under a threat of Ganondorf. Ganondorf was defeated in Tears of the Kingdom, right? Ganondorf is gone. Right? No more Ganondorf. So they would have to have a new enemy design or a new story. They can't always fight Ganondorf for one. It becomes boring. Always fighting the same bosses, same enemies, recycling the same story elements. It does become sort of boring, replaying the same stuff all the time. Not that I thought any Zelda titles were boring, but as a player, we would be more interested in a new story, something new. You know what I mean? A follow up to Tears, right? But new enemies, while recycle most of the game's basic elements, simply add to it, and simply they're husband and wife celebrating their honeymoon, and they notice this boat, coming at the shore a little further away, that they notice, that these enemy kind of soldiers, start to unpack, crates and stuff, they're starting to, they're starting to unload some stuff, could be a big boat, could be a very big boat, naval boat, it can't be just a raft, it would have to be a big boat, full of soldiers, enemy soldiers, and they're opening gates and bringing more soldiers to Hyrule. Tears of the Kingdom had some interesting elements, and it's sad that some of it will have to be scrapped, but obviously in Kingdom Under Fire they're starting to they would start to be making some sort of machine, they're developing maybe cars or whatever, steampunk maybe, I don't know, or recycle some of Tears of the Kingdom's elements, Hyrule would have expanded major, the map would be double in size, and would not be 100% like Tears of the Kingdom, it would be very new, while recycling some of the basic elements, Hyrule Castle will be rebuilt and much bigger, have a city around, a town. Kakariko Village will still be a thing, might be a little bigger, a few more buildings, Gerudo Village might still be a thing, might still be a female only kind of, you might still have to get in Gerudo Village for a part of the mission, maybe, you would be the only male allowed in Gerudo Village, maybe, because you're now king of Hyrule, you would maybe have to deal with their princess. I think it was Ryu her name, right? You may still need to talk to her, maybe get Gerudo females to train, to help assist, for the game-ending battle, get some of the Gerudo females to be warriors, they're strong built, right? To assist in the game-ending battle, it would make some sort of sense, At some point in the game, Link would still have to go to the Gerudo Village, right? And maybe talk to Princess Ryu, to gain some troops to aid in the final conflict, in the game. That would make some sense, That would make some sense, and he would be the only male allowed because he's king of Hyrule. Yeah, it would make some sort of sense that we would still talk to Princess Ryu. Yeah, and she would have grown older. Yeah, and she would be jealous. She would be basically bashing Link at this, at the start of the conversation. Why didn't you pick me, or you know what I mean, kind of thing.